You look super comfortable at Eastern Illinois. You've really, really turned things around there. Let's take us through that and brag on yourself for a while.
Well, I appreciate it. Thanks for having us. Hey, it's a lot of hard work. It's a brick by brick mentality, and certainly this place, this institution, this program impacted, enriched, and transformed my life personally. And so the opportunity to come home was just something that my wife and I could not say no to. And we've been very fortunate. There's been a lot of support along the way, whether it's the players, certainly first and foremost, the coaches, the support staff, the administration, the alumni. They've all been very engaging. Yeah, we came in and we knew we wanted to learn how to compete. And year one, we were able to double the win total, and we were able to be four of the losses were a touchdown or less. We were right there. We were more competitive. But the most important thing was establishing some relationships and building some connection and establishing trust with our players. And the next year, all of a sudden, now we're able to focus more on player development and playing to the strengths of our players in our program. And we did. We improved a ton on the field last year. Certainly the most improved team in FCS, going from 2 to 8 wins.
Mhm.
But ultimately we did not reach our goal of playing in the postseason and having a chance to be part of that 24-team national championship playoff field. So this season, our players have understood, hey, it's still about that hard hat and lunch pail mentality, that blue collar effort that we've got to have every single day. But it's about continuing to learn how to prepare to take the next step. And they've done a great job. The winter program was outstanding. We had a great productive spring program. Guys have worked their tails off this summer. And certainly we are very excited about reporting on the 28th and getting going this fall. But it's really about trying to take that next step and having a chance to play in the national championship playoff field.
And that is indeed the defined next step for this program after having barely missed it last year.
It is. It is. This place doesn't stand for mediocrity, certainly in football. And we have a long storied tradition. And while, again, hey, UT Martin and Coach Simpson have been the gold standard in our league for a number of years here recently. And Coach Tuke and Simo have done a phenomenal job. Eddie's got his program on the rise. Gardner Webb has been outstanding, and a number of other teams. It's highly competitive from top to bottom, but absolutely, that's what this is about for us. It's about trying to take that next step. So we're going to continue to focus on process and trying to play complementary winning football. And so that starts again with the players on the field on the 28th.
You and I talked last year, we were together, and I kind of wanted to bring it back up again this year. And it was kind of in your initial comments about that recruiting base and where you're focusing on doing what you do, but grow the base and expanding the EIU brand. What have you done specifically on the prairie, as you like to refer to at that point, to build those relationships? Is it at the high school level? Is it looking at transfers in this day and time? I almost shy away from asking that question, but how have you and your staff gone about building that and implementing the things you spoke about in the opening statement?
Yeah, there's no question that we want to continue to recruit, attract, retain, and develop high school student athletes over a 4 and 5 year period. But the game has evolved and we are in an unprecedented time. And so we also are going to continue to take advantage of other opportunities, which, for us, if we lose a player who's going to be a rising 3rd or 4th or 5th year or 6th year player in our program, to go out and replace them with a incoming 1st year player, at some point you have a little bit of a roster imbalance. So we will continue to use the junior colleges that have been very productive for us since we've arrived, with relationships that we have built and finding guys that fit here. And then we'll obviously use the portal for 4-year transfers as well. And for us, the level of football that they've competed is irrelevant. We're looking for production. We're looking for certain characteristics, ultimately by position. And then the ultimate thing is, do they fit here? And we've been very, very blessed to be able to vet some fine players, but most importantly, good people. And we've got to continue to do that, because I still believe, hey, in the end, culture eats talent for breakfast. Now you got to have some talent, but you need to establish a strong culture. And we want to make sure that guys fit here in a team first mentality. It's still really ultimately about we want to help every player be the best that they can be, and help them reach their individual goals. But collectively, if we do the best that we can, we'll all be successful.
And one of those outstanding players is Pierce Holly, preseason offensive player of the year. You've had some changes, and we'll talk about in a moment. At changes at the offensive side of the ball and the leadership on the offensive side of the ball, but having a returning quarterback of his talent has got to give you some positive momentum going into this season.
It does. It's really good. Obviously, today's game, your offense revolves heavily around your quarterback. But we're very fortunate to have a number of players back on offense. 4 starters on the offensive line, certainly MJ Flowers in the backfield. 3 or 4 guys that have started at least some games on the perimeter, added some talent there as well. Our tight ends back. But you mentioned it, Pierce Hawley coming back is big for us. It's year 2 for him in our program. Certainly, we did lose our offensive coordinator, Joe Davis, to Western Illinois to become the head coach. But I had a chance to elevate Kyle Derrickson, who's been my offensive coordinator prior to arriving here and was my associate head coach and special teams coordinator for the first 2 seasons, now to be in the OC. He's built a great relationship with Pierce. We've continued to evolve the offense. But Pierce is such a highly intelligent player. It gives us a chance to maybe add a little bit more to him or give him a little more freedom in the offense. And he has done a great job leading this summer, the group of guys. We've got 109 that have been here during the course of the summer, and we'll report 119 on the 28th. And he's done a really, really good job continuing to build relationships. He just got done with his part of the presser. They had their workout yesterday. They're off in the morning on Wednesdays. They'll come back and throw 7-on-7 this evening, but he takes the offensive line out and they're going to play golf. Right after he got done with his stuff here. So he's a great young man, heck of a football player, but most importantly, a great person.
Hey, the wind blows so much there on the prairie. I mean, you got to work on your golf game all the time, right, Coach?
Yeah, not me. I'm not much of a golfer myself, but there are actually quite a few of the guys that enjoy playing golf, and there's quite a few places around here. So
that's a great comment, because I wouldn't have seen that generally out of football players when it comes to that. Trajan Lewis has been a rock for you on the defense. Wanted to get a comment or two about him.
Oh yeah, Trajan, again, unbelievable person. He joined us here from Texas Tech, and Trajan's story is interesting. He committed to Eastern Illinois. He's about to get on an airplane to come here, and all of a sudden he heard the head coach was leaving, my predecessor. And he maintained his faith. He gave us an opportunity to build a relationship, and he has been an unbelievable person, just a great leader in the locker room, a great mentor to the guys on and off the field. It's like having another coach, but he does a phenomenal job inside up front. I believe you build your teams inside out, front to back. He's one of the pillars of our defense. He really does a phenomenal job with his hands, and he gobbles up blockers, allows guys like, E.T. Elijah Tolbert to continue to make tackles for us, or Anthony Shockey, another captain, who's our middle linebacker, or Phoenix Porter, or a number of other guys that play in that linebacking crew. But he's just a phenomenal person. Great energy to be around him all the time. So really excited about watching both those guys continue to grow as players and continue to lead us as a football program.
I love your schedule, but when I looked at it, I thought you were playing in the Big Ten. So you want to comment particularly on the first floor? And I know we're not supposed to do that because we're in the conference media day, but your first 4 is rather intriguing. I'll just roll it off. You start on Labor Day weekend on that Thursday night at Illinois. The Indiana State game we'll talk about later. We'll say that content-wise for later. Then Northwestern, then Illinois State. What a great starting 4 for you. Your kids have to be excited about that.
They are, and our coaches and players are really excited about the opportunity. We know it's a tremendous challenge. Like you said, open it in Champaign at Big Ten University of Illinois on a Thursday night. Know a little bit more about each other. Their offensive coordinator, Barry Lunny Jr., is actually my son's godfather. So that's an interesting dynamic for myself. And, he and Janelle are phenomenal people. We worked together at San Jose State going way back. But I know Brett, have a great deal of respect for his program. Really, really, really excited about that opportunity. Then, like you said, hey, we get a chance to come home and play in the border war against Indiana State. Again, Coach Mal's done a phenomenal job. They have continued to improve. I know their record didn't show that at the end of last season, but they were much more competitive. They had a lot of injuries when we played them early in the year. I'm sure that they're going to be excited about having a chance to come to Charleston. Then having a chance to go and play up on the lakefront against Northwestern. They did a phenomenal job last year. They've got a lot of people back. Coach has really, really, really done a good job, especially under those circumstances, taking over and having a great deal of success, exceeding all expectations last fall. But that'll be really cool to play on that lakefront field, and then certainly coming home, for our biggest rival, probably in Illinois State, and having a chance to play in the Mid-American Classic. And Coach Spack and his team have done a phenomenal job. That was a barn burner of a game last year. Pierce took us 90 yards in 90 seconds ish at the end of the game to win, but it was a back and forth, knockdown, drag out affair, and I wouldn't expect anything less from those guys in Normal this year.
And when you get into the conference, you've got a really neat schedule in that home and away, home and away. It kind of seems to repeat itself. Is that a pretty good situation for you, and particularly with that October game at UT Martin? Each of you picked 1 and 2 in the preseason.
Yeah, it is. We're excited about the entire conference. Again, the growth and the stability. The leadership has done a phenomenal job. We are very, very, very excited about the long-term commitment and success of the OVC Big South. The other big thing for us has been, the opportunity to play all 8 league schools.
Yeah.
So again, that's really, really exciting. Get a chance to play against some new teams. We didn't get a chance to play against Gardner-Webb last year. Haven't played against Western Illinois since I was here the last time. Haven't had a chance to play against Charleston Southern yet. Have a chance to go back down to Cookeville. We've got guys in the program that haven't necessarily done that here recently. So really, really, really excited. Again, every single week in our conference is going to be extremely competitive from top to bottom. There's not a week where you're not gonna, if you don't come out and play your best football, that you're not gonna have a chance to be successful or be not successful. So we know it's going to be a tremendous challenge this year. The 12-game schedule, like you said, the 2 FBS opponents, the 2 regional rivals, but most importantly, the 8 games in the OVC Big South, and we know every single one of them is going to be competitive. You mentioned the game at Martin. Certainly, Jason Simpson and UT Martin have been the gold standard of the OVC Big South here recently. I have a great deal of respect for him and his program. Our players have a great deal of respect for them and their program, along with a ton of other people. Gardner-Webb's been very successful. Coach Tuke at SEMO has been very successful. But all the coaching and all the talent in our league from top to bottom is outstanding. And so the preseason polls are what they are. We were picked at the bottom last year, and we ended up not at the top, but certainly in the upper half. So we know there's a lot of work to be done between now and certainly the 29th, our opening game. But obviously, as we continue to develop ourselves for those 8 OVC Big South games, which will ultimately decide whether we reach our goal or not.
Great to see you again, Coach.
Yeah,
Chris
great
Wilkerson.
to see you. Appreciate it.
Best
Great
of
to
luck
see
to you. We'll see you somewhere along the way, be it on the prairie or some of these exotic stops. I don't think I'm going to go to the lakefront, though. I think I'll pass. I think I'll pass on Chicago or Evanston as far as that goes. Best of luck to you, Coach.
Thanks a million. Appreciate it. Go Panthers.